All right, we're live, right? Is this how we do it?
Yeah, we're good.
All right. Yeah. All right.
All right, so we got some people joining in here. Wait for some questions to start rolling in. Did you have anything you wanted to talk about tonight specifically?
Just more getting started. Any questions people have about getting started getting insurance?
Okay.
Nothing special, really.
Okay.
You mentioned about the blue parrot last week, right?
Yes, yeah, that's the new giveaway we're going to be doing.
I'll have stuff up about that like before the end of the week.
Sound good.
We're gonna start giving away blue parrots as well.
And keep in mind, we also have the OTR 700 we're still doing. We did last month's giveaway. You may have saw that post last week. So we're going to be doing a giveaway for July as well.
So random giveaway. Anybody
stay tuned.
Getting quotes with us. The cool thing about the OTR 700, I guess, since we're waiting, if anybody has any questions, just post them up. But this lets you put in your dimensions of your truck. So when you're driving up in the Northeast and you have all those really old low bridges, you don't scalp your box truck or semi, whatever you got. We like these, and so does your insurance.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Man, that happens too often. It's like every Monday morning I see pictures of a box truck with the top of the box ripped off.
Call it the can opener.
Yeah. Nobody know.
Yeah, those are the worst.
Yep.
What a good way to end a weekend.
But yeah, anybody hopping on here, if you have questions, just post them up. We'll start answering them. And we're gonna go till 6:30 tonight. I think that's the new thing.
We're gonna do like half hours.
We're trying to do every Tuesday. Sometimes we might have to switch it up depending on scheduling, but every Tuesday, 6 o'clock. At least Nick will be here. Sometimes I can. Just depends. But yeah, man. Glad that people get on here. I know it's not a lot at first, but we do actually get a lot of views on these after the fact, so that's good.
Yeah, definitely helps out. People are enjoying them so far. So if you guys have any recommendations or anything you'd like to see, feel free to also drop a comment about that, and we'll see if we can make it happen.
Yeah. Yep. They just post up over here, right?
Yeah. It goes.
Okay. I haven't done one in a long time.
Yep.
I will also be working on some new content. We're doing content on not just the insurance side, but financing, like what goes on with insurance when you're trying to finance equipment, like trucks, trailers, whatever. Got some stuff on that, and like building your business credit. Like main thing is if we handle the insurance, right? But if we can help you with everything else and not go down the wrong path, like because we talk with so many people, right? And we get so much information, like of what to do, what not to do. That's the big thing, like what not to do. We run into the what not to do way too much with our clients. And so that's where all of this YouTube channels come from, is literally just like, all right, so we want our clients to be successful, because if they're not successful, we won't be. We'll go out of business if all of our clients go out of business. Right. So literally we just kind of survey our clients and see like what's working, what's not working. I also have a trucking company, but it's kind of like that thing's kind of on autopilot. I don't have to do a whole lot with it. But I started that literally just to find the pain points that everybody has to go through trying to get started. All the regulatory crap. There's a lot. It is a lot. And it's one thing to read up on it, talk about it with people, but then to actually get into it and have to like go through all of it. That's why I did that. And like we've got 2 trucks on the road right now, about to be 3. And we've had more and less. We've leased on people and leased off people.
Yeah.
That's another thing, working on content. Been working on that for a while because there's some resources I want to go along with that. Like for hiring drivers, leasing on drivers, all that type of thing. I'll have more up here soon for that, but I'm not gonna do the videos until I have the free resources to go along with it. And I've been slowly building that out on the website, trying to perfect it. So we got a question.
Yep, hit show. Yeah.
Sweet. What's the cheapest and best way to get your Class A? Google. I don't have a CDL.
Yeah, neither of us have CDLs, but
yeah, I would just try and find a school as close to you as you can. Go get that done. I'll do a little more research on that. I know it's all changed back in February, because now it's like all federally regulated. It's not regulated on state level. get it done sooner than later if you're wanting to do it. Most insurance companies want you to have 2 years with the CDL. Basically, like it sucks, right? So you want to get a CDL, right? But then you immediately need at least 2 years of experience on it, which is so stupid. So essentially, you have to go work for some like asshole company, right, for 2 years that's self-insured or partially self-insured. Some of the big ones rhymes with Dwift. No, I mean, whatever. Some of them are good, not all of them.
Yeah.
We're here to talk about you owning your own company. But yeah, so a lot of them want you to have 2 years of CDL experience if you're running CDL equipment. Some of them want even more than that. Some of them want 5 years.
Like, as you get older, they want you to be in business for so many years. They want you to have so many years of CDL.
Especially
starting to see 3 years.
Especially as an owner. Yep, we run into that a lot. If the owner doesn't have 3 to 5 years CDL or some sort of other, experience in logistics, could be even like a warehouse operator or manager, like as long as they have some sort of experience delivering furniture locally, like we come across all kinds of stuff. And, like a lot of times we have to ask people for resumes to provide to underwriting, and man, it's important to keep that updated.
Yeah. A lot of the underwriting questions we'll get when it comes to
they'll want to see resumes and
sometimes
references.
They'll want the reference. I was gonna say the references. They'll want to know who you worked for, what dates you worked for them. They'll want to usually have a contact number. Now, whether or not they're going to contact
never had anyone actually contact.
Never had that happen, but they do ask. So just if you want to keep like a spreadsheet of like previous employers and contact name and email, it's just good to have, especially when you're getting quotes and things like that. Underwriting is something that is going to take longer the less prepared you are.
Yeah.
So when you guys request a quote, it's like you're coming up on your renewal, let's say. And it's like, I renew in 2 days, but underwriting needs 5 days. Make sure you have all your paperwork together.
Depends on the company.
Yeah, that's true.
Berkshire. We like Berkshire. For our UIIA clients, people want to run intermodal, like go to ports and rail yards.
Yep.
But man, those quotes, they can
take a while.
They can take a week or longer. Like when it comes to intermodal haulers, when you want to run containers and all that, there's so much like manual underwriting that has to be done. And there's just a few underwriters. There's not like a big, giant building full of underwriters.
Yeah.
There's just a few of those gremlins down in the basement that pound through emails all day and night, literally all day and night.
Yeah. You see us like sometimes send quotes out at midnight.
You're not allowed to call them.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to call them. They don't have a phone number that you can reach them. It's like Amazon Relay. Like you can't call them. They can call you. And all you can do is email and beg.
Yeah. Like, gotta love the process.
Yeah. So I always say like just plan ahead as much as you can.
Yeah. I'm going to drop this question off here just in case we have some more come in.
Cool. Yeah. Anybody got any questions about anything, just post them up. Thanks for anybody that is watching right now. Anybody who watches this later, just, remember, we're going to start doing this every Tuesday night, 6 p.m. Eastern time.
Yep.
And we'll normally post about it ahead of time, especially if we have to switch up like what night we do it. But most Tuesday nights, maybe a Wednesday night here and there.
Yeah, we're going to try to stick to Tuesday nights as consistently as possible. Like Daniel said, schedule changes may happen and we may have to adjust. And more than likely, that'll be on a Wednesday in that scenarow.
Kids throw wrenches and things.
Oh, yeah. Got to teach him how to start a trucking company.
Cameron, he would love that.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Loves trucks.
Yeah. Anybody out there got questions? I know y'all got questions.
What do you like about the Blue Parrot?
Oh God, I don't know. Blue Parrot. While we're waiting on people to post questions, the Blue Parrot. This is the B650 XT. Anybody that's on here hadn't heard, we're gonna start giving these away. This one has like crazy talk time and all that, like standby.
Yeah.
What was it? I don't know, like 10 years. It's not really.
Yeah, it's
pretty
long though. I think it's like right here.
The coolest thing about Blue Parrot though, 300 feet.
Yeah, that's actually insane.
Oh yeah, it's 36 hours talk
36 hours talk time.
So you can get like halfway through your shifts for the week without having to
for real.
But 300 feet, like you can park your truck and wear it into the
Yeah, that's pretty crazy because like I've got a
touch.
pair of AirPods and it's like you walk 20 feet away from your phone and it's done.
Dust IP54 rated, so don't submerge it. But like if you're sweating, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Do we have the details on like how we're going to be handling that giveaways as separate from the OTR?
No, I decided we're just gonna do them randomly.
Just
Like
okay.
just like it'll be the same thing. Like we'll pick one for
drawing. Okay.
one for the Garmin
Yep.
OTR, and one for the Blue Parrot.
Cool.
Yeah. We'll do the Garmin every month, and the Garmin's like really smart because it helps people not run into bridges.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't want claims, guys.
Don't get claims. Oh my God, don't get claims. Anybody have questions about claims? The answer is don't get claims. No.
Yeah, there you go.
No. Like so really like insurance is, there for the unexpected things. But for business, it's a little bit different. For business, it's like how much risk do you assume for yourself and your company? So, and you kind of have a choice. You don't have to let the insurance company pay out for claims.
Right.
And in some scenarios, you could pay out partial. So you have less like total paid out on your loss run history. If you're not sure what that is, you're going to learn.
Yeah.
You'll when you go to get quotes, like you go to shop around insurance at renewal or, before renewal, hopefully well before renewal, like 30 to 60 days before your policy's coming up for renewal. You'll go talk to some agents or your current agent. Your current agent is going to hope like hell you don't ask for loss runs.
Right.
We don't mind. Like I'll explain in some videos here soon differences between direct insurance companies and wholesale insurance companies and why we don't do business with wholesale insurance companies. But everybody needs loss runs whenever you want to go shop insurance. Like if you're existing, you got to have loss runs. If you're a brand new business, you don't have loss runs. Loss runs is literally just a claim. It's your claims history. Whether you have claims or not, you'll need that when you go to get quotes. We'll talk more about that if anybody has any questions, but we got another question on here. My authority hasn't been approved and it's hard to find a truck. If I needed, can I pause my authority? Authority hasn't been approved. So like you have roughly 90 days to get your authority active while it's in that pending status from the time you apply. But you can always ask to extend that. And I mean, I've seen people go like 6 months in applying status just because they keep calling the FMCSA and saying like, hey, I'm still not ready to actually pull the trigger. I'm still working on insurance. I'm working on getting a truck on the road, everything in between.
Keep the line of communication open. Don't just leave it.
Yep. It sucks to call the FMCSA sometimes. Like sometimes you wait an hour or longer, but if you have to, you have to. But yeah, now, once you do go active, can you pause? Not really. We do some things that are like kind of unconventional, I guess would be the easiest way to say it. Like we'll make it so your policy's like not really operational, but your authority is still active. That's kind of complicated. We like to talk to people individually on that because everyone's scenario is different, but we try to help people keep their authority active to maintain that time. That's just something else we do. But yeah, that's a kind of, obviously a different scenario. That's after you've gone active. Sometimes like if you're renting a truck, we deal with this a lot where people rent a truck and, they're going to take time off or turn a truck in and they can't get another truck for a little bit or like, that's pretty much it. There's other scenarios.
Yeah. I mean, you're going to find different scenarios here and there. So I know you're saying, so you need to call, if you're getting close to that 90-day mark, yes, you should go ahead and call and ask for an extension. If you are, 20, 30 days in, you really don't, there's no reason to call right now unless you think it's going to be far past the 90 days before you're able to go active. But yeah, you can absolutely call.
Sherman.
Looks like you had just a shout out.
All right.
Shout out to Lindsay. Okay.
Yeah. Lindsay is awesome. I always say she's my boss. I own the agency, but she's the office director in charge. She's the glue, man. She's awesome.
All the emails coming in, all that stuff on the back end.
She can be tough though.
Yeah.
Yep. But it's like, it's for good, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
You ever have
promise we have your best interests.
You ever have a teacher that's like really tough on you, but like you learned, like you actually appreciate it? That's
yeah. Yeah, you don't
Anyways.
realize you don't realize it so far down the road.
Yep.
It's like, wow, I wish I had a teacher like that.
Yeah. Glad we're able to help. That's what we're trying to do here. Trying to make trucking a little bit better.
Yeah, a little bit less of a headache, a little bit easier for everybody.
Yeah,
you were just saying something to call.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yep. No, I originally started this YouTube channel kind of out of frustration. I would get people to call, or people would call in and say like, "Oh, I heard this or that on YouTube or from a friend."
Yeah.
And I talked about doing the channel for like a year before actually pulling the trigger and recording some videos. It was awkward as hell at first. But yeah, it helps y'all. It helps us. It's really good. It's kind of like now it's really the only way we market, because we get people that are like trying to educate themselves, right? Going to YouTube. And that leads to honestly better clients in insurance. Because one of the biggest misses in trucking insurance, and probably insurance in general, we just only do trucking, is people don't understand how insurance works. And so if you go into something you don't know how it works, like you're bound to run into issues.
Right.
Versus a little bit of education, investment, and time there. And then you get an idea of at least an idea, right? Like you don't need to know all the ins and outs. That's what we're here for. Please, like,
yeah.
Let me keep my job.
Yeah, right.
But knowing a little bit helps you navigate around roadblocks and cliffs. So yeah, anyways,
yep.
We got another
question. Let us be the guardrail.
Good evening, guys. I know every situation is different, but what is around the average down payment and monthly payments with a day cab, flatbed, or dry van, new authority? Okay.
You're right with the different variables in different situations. There's dozens of them.
Yep. So, but a day cab.
We want to talk like the three main factors. Like, what's the three biggest factors, right? So we've got like three biggest factors when talking about what is going to determine my rate, aside from specific types of coverage, is number one, your credit score. Number two, your MVR. So if anyone out there doesn't know, that's motor vehicle report. Majority of insurance companies are going to go back 5 years on your MVR. Anything that was
3
your
to 5
fault.
Depends on the state.
Yeah, it depends on the state.
And the insurance company.
But yeah. So like 3 to 5 years, usually not going to go past 5, at least from what I've seen. But in this situation, that MVR is really important. Anything that you were deemed at fault for, like whether it's a speeding ticket, stoplight, accident, DUI, driving while license suspended, reckless driving. I mean, the list goes on. That will affect your rate. It's not a situation where like, can it affect my rate? How it will affect my rate? It's going to make it go up. It's that simple.
It could be $1 going up. It could be 10 grand going up
or more.
And
it's hard to estimate,
different.
Right?
And then there's multiple variables that affect multiple variables.
Right.
So like if you happen to be 25 and you have one speeding ticket and you're in South Carolina, right? Those three things are dependent on one another. So it's not like if you are 25 or if you just have a speeding ticket, right? And South Carolina sucks, man. You can't get away with speeding tickets like you can in North Carolina.
No.
Not
even close.
But on that note, always get an attorney, no matter what. All right. No matter what, especially as trying to be a professional in trucking, no matter what, always get an attorney.
Yeah.
Like,
I hear on the phone, like I'm talking to people all the time and they're like, oh, I just paid the ticket. Stop doing that.
Like you're going to have to pay a ticket, but you also need to pay the attorney.
You need to pay the attorney.
Reduce it at the bare minimum or make it go away.
Yeah.
Right? Like your speedometer was broke.
Yep.
Yep.
Something.
Anyways,
but to talk about average down payments, average monthly payments, I mean, man, 100% it can vary, right? I mean, I've seen people put down $2,000. I've seen people put down $10,000. I mean, it really depends on those variables we talked about, what coverages, location, et cetera.
There's also base rates for every state, right? This is why like what state you're in really matters. And if you're in a predominantly expensive state, right? It's not as easy as just like incorporating a business in the next state over across the continent, whatever. Like there's so many things that will get you stuck if you try to go into another state to get insurance. But depending on what state you're in, right, there's base rates, then your driving record, your age, the value of your equipment, like average down payment for us, full authority, like operate. So $1 million in auto liability, 100,000 on cargo. We're not even talking about physical damage right now. So you could have a $20,000 truck, you could have a $200,000 truck. Not talking about insuring that part of it, just the like
the auto liability, the cargo, and then I would say general liability. Most people are going to get that nowadays.
Well,
if you want to run Amazon.
On a day cab,
yeah.
Day cab, I mean, it depends on, if you're running Amazon, you got to have general liability, which is different than auto liability.
Yep.
But it's normally pretty cheap.
Yep.
I'd say between 2,500 and 3,000, right? If you've got less than perfect credit, or if your credit really sucks, it's going to be through the roof. We kind of try to stay away from policies for one truck that are over 30, 35 grand a year. Depends on what you got cooking, right? Like if you got a contract, or you got, if you're in a particular part of the country, you're going to work in a particular part of the country, and like you've got a good solid plan. Like we're not going to tell you no. We just like might tell you that
this might be tough.
It's going to be really hard. It's going to be really hard. Like I had a guy, $56,000 for his first year in insurance because he had just recently wrecked a brand new truck, right? In his first year of business, $56,000. He basically only lived in the truck for the first year, had no other expenses. I mean, I'm sure he had some expenses, but he made it through his first year. It went from like 56 down to like 20 something the second year. But, it's not possible. I wouldn't do it. But I'm not going to tell you no. We're here to help, try and advise, right? Like we like to see policies under 20 grand for one truck.
Yeah, of course.
Is that always the case? No, especially with intermodal. You needed to go through the UIIA stuff. We see those start around 18 and go up. Obviously, like when you add in physical damage, like comp and collision on your truck, on your trailer, whatever.
Easily add $4 or $5 grand a year.
Yeah, it depends on the values and age and all that, and where you're at, and your record. Like your record affects everything. Your credit can affect everything in the beginning. Once you're established, though, like once you've been in business more than 3 years, credit kind of goes away. Then it's more just,
what's your history? Those loss runs you talked about.
Do you have any claims? Like that's all they really care about. Once you're established, all they really care about is claims and age and driving record.
Yep.
What else we got in here?
But yeah,
what do we say? Like 2,500 to 3,000 down?
Yeah, 2,500 to 3,000.
Well, you know what? I can talk percentages though. Everybody loves to hate on Progressive because everyone is like Progressive. Progressive will insure almost anyone, right? And from where I'm sitting versus where a lot of truckers are sitting, it's a different perspective. I like Progressive because they offer insurance to so many people. It's like, hey, we're willing to work with you. And what really pisses me off is all the companies that won't work with you. And everyone gets so mad at Progressive, and it's like, it's so expensive. Well, like driving record and credit are the two biggest things with Progressive. Like you fix those things, then the rates can be the cheapest we've ever seen.
Yeah,
like Progressive has cheaper than some of the preferred markets. But it really upsets me that like there's not that many, but there are more companies out there that can insure truckers, but they won't touch new ventures.
Right.
It's like you don't get mad at the people that won't work with you. You only get mad at the company that will. So I don't know. And like every company has their faults though. Like we see that too.
We're up here.
But yeah, monthly payment on a semi, even a day cab. Another thing that plays in is radius. Depending on which insurance company you go with, some will allow you to do a shorter radius, right? And that can make it significantly cheaper. Like with a day cab, you're going kind of, a couple hundred miles at most a day. Maybe $800 a month, maybe less. Just depends. Depends on the time.
It really would depend.
Could be a little cheaper, could be a little more.
That'd be in a really good scenario.
Yeah. And then that's another thing. So percentages, I touched on this. Progressive offers some of the lowest down payments percentage-wise. If you got good, if you got good credit, you can get as low as 9.09% down, right? Yeah. If you go through wholesale markets, which we don't particularly like, 20 to 30% is pretty typical. Sometimes more, occasionally less. You might get as low as 15%. But those perfect world, those don't last forever, right? Yeah. Like an agency gets appointed with a finance company that will offer 15% until that agency's business, like their book of all their clients, kind of burn that relationship by not paying on time. Then that finance company drops the insurance agency. So like I've seen it happen with other agencies where like they were able to offer 15%, but then people don't pay on time and they default and they go out of business. And the finance company gets pissed off and won't work with the agency anymore. Yep. That's not fun. That's another reason why we don't really like wholesale insurance, is because it's such an awful experience. It's not built for modern day trucking, right? Like when we used to have fax machines and used to send everything through the mail, brokered wholesale insurance was kind of like all there was. But now we have the internet, and wholesale insurance shouldn't exist anymore. Let's go to here.
Yeah, question about Maryland.
We might run over a little bit tonight. All right. When will you guys add Maryland to your trucking rental referral program? You're probably talking about budget. We just added a rep from Arizona, so that covers a few states over in that area. As soon as we find somebody that's cool, I'll say cool, right? Easy to work with, that wants our referrals. Yeah. It all started when I started my trucking company. I got in touch with this one guy at Budget, and that's where this whole referral program started with Budget. Shane, that covers the Southeast.
Yep.
Every couple of months, I try and reach out to a few different reps, network a little bit to try and find new people to add to our, all of our affiliates and referral partners. But if anybody out there has somebody that they want to connect to us, feel free. Like, that'd be great. We're trying. Our deal with Ryder's getting tough. Ryder's getting tougher and tougher, but it's still there. It's still possible. One thing that everybody should know, though, Ryder's doing more like background check, I'd say. Not like they're looking more into if you're already existing, right? Yeah. Or if you haven't existed, like they're not just throwing accounts to everybody, and then the things they are looking into affect the rates they offer you. So I don't know, trying to get more info on that, but they're pretty tight. It's hard, but we still have that too. All right, let's get caught up here.
So we have
this one.
Okay. So, hey guys, I have a question. If my insurance company, which is you guys or Progressive, to better say, send me a letter of cancellation, do you guys help with a payment and take it out from RTS like Pilot? So are you asking like factoring your insurance payment? You mentioned RTS and automatically taking it out.
Like you can set back funds with RTS. Like you can ask RTS.
I think they're asking like if we as an agency would do that. Let's try to clarify that question. Are you asking like us is like, let's say that we're your agent, right? Progressive or us.
Do you guys help with the payment?
Do we guys help with the payment and take it out?
RTS. We don't have access to any funds at RTS.
Yeah.
But you can always ask RTS to set aside reserves for insurance.
Yeah, I know that they will do that.
Tell them, say, take 5, 10, whatever % of all your loads to put in reserves. And then literally you just email them and say how much out of the reserves you want transferred. And then that's same day, next day. And then you go in and make your Progressive payment. We need a little more clarification on that. Factoring from range. So
factoring my insurance. Yeah, so that would be through RTS then.
Yeah,
just like you were just saying.
I think you just if you just call RTS or email them and tell them, hey, I want to do this, or this is my. There's probably several ways you could do it. This is my insurance payment. I need this much taken out at least each week or reserve. But they're always factoring per load. They're not factoring like on a weekly basis. So I just do a percentage, and then you'll have extra reserves. You can always take extra out of the reserves if you need to, or leave it there for renewal,
next down payment,
tires, anything else is going to come up and be expensive. All right. I'm in Texas, no accidents, clean MVR, over age 45, good credit, over 7.
This was the question about the day cab.
Oh yeah. Okay. So this is ideal. In Texas is
Texas pretty decent market.
It's like middle lower of the pack when it comes to pricing per state, right? Like it's pretty average. Sometimes with like age, like if you're older and you have decent credit, then it can be pretty cheap. It's not the cheapest. I've seen plenty.
I've seen stuff, 15, 16 grand.
I've seen 10
out of Texas.
Yeah, only a couple, but yeah,
like
10, 12 grand a year for a truck.
Between.
it's not easy, but that's possible. When
that's the question. It was just the secondary question.
All right, what are the number of drivers with a commercial driver's license? Federal conductor or a valid Canadian. Oh man, All right, I got homework then. I don't know what that means.
I have no idea.
Does this continue solo?
How does this affect me if I'm entered
to a non?
if I enter one?
I'm planning to be a non. Oh, I need to research that for you. Solo, if you can go down in the description on this video and email us your question, I'll get back to you. I'll research it for you. So I guess what you're saying is you're going to be crossing borders and trying to figure out what's up with non-CDL stuff. We can help you out with that. I always like the tough ones. So I can go.
So we're good. Let's Sherman has a question. Adding a second CMV double insurance price.
Commercial motor vehicle.
Also, are cargo and sprinters cheaper to insure?
I'll take it.
Yeah, okay.
All right, second commercial motor vehicle. All right, so if your first commercial motor vehicle, right, and let's just compare auto liability for a second, just the $1 million auto liability that you need. If you have one semi or one box truck, one hotshot, one sprinter van, and you're adding another one of those that's the exact same year, and it's going to be garaged in the same exact zip code, that would be pretty much the same exact price.
Yeah, so it would.
But it could be different if it's garaged somewhere else, or with that second vehicle, you're adding a second driver, and that driver's older, younger, good record, bad record, whatever. That's when you start seeing some price fluctuations. But yeah, and then value. So like if you have a 2018 Hino box truck, right, that's $60,000. Well, is that accurate? Maybe let's say it's $80,000.
Yeah.
With 350,000 miles on it. And then you go and buy a 2022 brand new Freightliner M2 that's 120 grand. Then that second truck is going to be significantly more expensive. So age of the vehicle, weight class of the vehicle, value of the vehicle, and garaging zip code. When we're just comparing vehicles side by side, that's what's going to be the factors there. Am I missing anything?
Just the second part of the question.
Radius can make a difference. You might have one truck that's, unlimited radius, and the next one might be 500 or under that. So radius could be another factor too that might make a difference.
Yep. And so on the second part of the question is it cheaper to insure a cargo and sprinter van? If we're comparing a cargo and sprinter van to a heavier weight vehicle like a box truck or a semi, it's going to be, I wouldn't necessarily say significantly cheaper.
Like if you got a 2022 semi, 2022 box truck, 22.
Yeah, it's going to be cheaper.
Like
as your weight class is going down, the price is going to go down.
Yep. I always like to just think of like the momentum, right? Like if I've got a cargo van that weighs 10,000 pounds, it's not going to do as much damage running into a building at 60 miles an hour as a semi that weighs 80,000 pounds.
Right. Yeah.
The semi is going to go through the whole thing. The sprinter van is only going to go halfway through the first wall. It happens. So we already went to that one.
So we got the very bottom there. Yep.
Is this it? All right.
So it's more like a loan. Like we do with the pilot card. Do you know anything about pilot card?
Hold on. Oh, wait. Oh, God. Will they like front you funds for the insurance? Like factor the year?
So pilot card.
I'm sure it's
that aside.
Like the pilot fuel card? Where they give you money
up front. They front you money for the fuel.
Yeah, let's just say they give you like a $2,000 credit, like weekly credit limit, but it's pulled out each week, right? Like that's just like the RTS fuel card.
Yeah, so like I know RTS I've seen where they will pay, like maybe not 100%, but pay a portion of a down payment on a renewal to keep somebody in business, right? I've seen that happen.
But only if you have reserves.
Right. Well,
if you're putting reserves, like if you're keeping a reserve,
they'll use that to pay. But I don't necessarily know if
a lot of people
going
do that actually.
Front that.
Yeah. I don't think they're going to front that unless you have it in reserves, or you might have to just talk to RTS. That might be like a one-off thing that they. Yeah,
that's going to be maybe something that's handled on like a case-by-case basis. That's not something that's going to be advertised as, "Hey, we do this."
All right. Let's see here. If I put my down payment down for the FMCSA requirement of $750, how long do I have to wait to call you guys and upgrade?
24 hours.
Yeah, we just.
Yep, we can do it the very next day.
Yep, we can upgrade it anytime, like the next day.
Yeah.
Therefore, anything to add to that?
Don't apply for Amazon before you upgrade it.
Yeah. And
I see people do that too often.
Communicate with us, and like if for some reason you didn't get insurance through us, and you're watching this, make sure you get an agent. All right, 90-something% now get Progressive to start. So if you call Progressive directly, like I don't really recommend that for trucking. If you own a small landscaping company, right, and you don't ever need to talk to anyone about your insurance, you just need to get the policy, and then you'll renew next year. You're never going to need help. That might be fine to call Progressive Direct. But for trucking, your agent is so involved, especially in the first 90 days. You don't want to be calling an 800 number every time and waiting forever and getting different people each time. Plus, we have tons of other resources, and the pricing is exactly the same. The only time people get different pricing is when people doing the quotes do them differently. And
right.
It's not always easy to tell. But we make it easy, like starting with 750 limits instead of $1 million with the cargo and everything else on there. We start with just flat out 750 with just on the auto liability, so that you can get your authority active. You're not paying for insurance you're not using yet, like all the other insurance you're not going to even use yet until you're actually active, and then apply to Amazon or whoever else, right? So, and it also helps get the down payment lower. But it defaults the difference, which is then prorated. We'll go over that with people individually. But yeah, no, just need 24 hours.
Yeah.
Trying to elaborate for everybody, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Well, guys, we're at 6:37. We're going to try and keep these to 30 minutes each Tuesday.
Yep.
If anybody else has another quick question, throw it in here. Appreciate everyone that's hopped on here. Anybody that's watching this after we're live,
schedule calls if you have additional questions.
Schedule calls. Check out the affiliates.
Check out the next live.
If you need help with factoring, fuel cards, setting up a bank account, getting your LLC started, we've got the hookups on all of that. And literally all of our affiliates come from our clients. Over the years, I've surveyed customers and just been like, hey, what do you use for this? What do you use for that? And these are the best ones. So, yep. What else? Yep. Schedule calls. We do all kinds of free consulting. And do we recommend any dispatchers for CDL hotshot?
I always get that question.
We do now.
We do. Okay.
Yep. AF dispatching. Email us and I'll get you contact info. I haven't set up everything on the website for that yet. But email me just to the office at Charles String and I'll get you their contact info. We might have one other one here soon.
Okay.
Yeah, we've had so many dispatchers reach out to us, and I'm like really hesitant to recommend dispatchers because there's just so many things that can go wrong, right? And it's not even that, like, it goes wrong. It's just like who's a good fit, who's not, right? Like, everyone I recommend, I really like to stand behind. I don't want to point anyone in the wrong direction. So, but yeah, Sherman, email us, and I'll get you their contact info.
All right.
They can definitely help out with CDL hotshot. Cool.
Sounds good.
Well, thank you, everybody. And stay tuned
for next week.
Thanks, Sherman. Don't forget, if you do submit quotes, there's a little question at the end of the quote form. If you want to get entered into our little contest, we're giving stuff away now. Yeah, that's it. Everybody have a good evening, and we'll see you next week.
See you guys.